Alright, so today in this video, I'm going to wipe code and build a web application using AI. And know what exactly is wipe coding, you ask? Well, wipe coding is where you use AI to build complex web applications without writing a single line of code. So you will go ahead and tell the AI that I want to build an application like this. These are the features to be included. This is the styling guide. These are the things that I want to include within the website and do all that kind of stuff. And the AI or the AI agent will go ahead and take care of all this stuff and write the code for you and build the website for you. And in case if you run into any error, you can just go ahead and copy paste the error and tell the AI fix it and press enter, and the AI will do all that for you. And the best part, you can actually go ahead and tell the AI to deploy the app, and without even taking care of any of the DevOps stuff, the AI will go ahead and deploy the website and give you a live URL that pretty much anyone can use to access your website that you built using the platform. So that is how the whole wipe coding thing works. So basically, you don't have to write a single line of code. The AI takes care of everything. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. And to take things to the next level, you don't even have to touch the keyboard. So you could go ahead and use the dictation software or dictation feature within your computer, and you can speak to the AI and code the entire thing. I will show you all of that in this video, and if that sounds interesting, without wasting any further time, let's jump straight in. Alright, so this right here is Databutton, one of the best AI coding tools out there with the AI agentic kind of an approach, and this is the AI coding platform that we'll be using today to create our web application that we are planning. And if you want to follow along, the first thing that you gotta do is to click the first link in the description below and head over to databutton.com, and you can go ahead and sign up for a new account. So once you're logged in, all you gotta do is to click on this new app icon right here to start building your application, and it says let's turn your ideas into exceptional software. So this is the beginning point, and this is where all the magic happens. And as you can see, the first thing that you gotta do is to describe your app, what it does and who is it for. So all you gotta do is to give as much information as possible to the AI as to what you want to build and what are the features to be included and what does it do and who is it for. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, you don't even have to touch your keyboard to kind of type or give instructions to the AI. For example, if your computer has this dictation feature, or even if you don't, you can actually go ahead and install softwares like Whisperflow, and you can actually speak to the mic and have the AI do things for you. For example, if you're in the Mac, you can just go ahead and click on this mic icon on the keyboard, and whatever stuff that you speak will be automatically filled, as you can see in here, and you can take it up from here. And now the next thing that I'll do is to describe the exact features I want and all that kind of stuff. And what exactly is that I'm building, you ask? Well, apart from content creation, I also run multiple other blogs as well. And I spend significant amount of time, energy and money into writing high quality blog posts. And now associated with each of these blogs, I also have a couple of social media handles, particularly in LinkedIn and Twitter or X as well. And now turning these highly researched blog posts into, let's say, a Twitter thread or let's say a LinkedIn post is extremely time consuming. And I want to build a software or like a web application where I could drop a link to the blog post or maybe paste the content. And I want the AI to turn it into a LinkedIn post and maybe a X thread as well. Okay. So once I have the content, I could maybe go ahead and drop, let's say 100 links and turn all of that into multiple different content. And I can use a scheduling software to schedule the content, and content for an entire month can be done in less than 30 minutes or even maximum in 1 hour. So that's the kind of app that I'm trying to build. So I'll go ahead and say, I want to build an app where I could paste a link to a blog post, or let's say paste a blog post and turn it into a LinkedIn post and Twitter/X thread. So this is the initial prompt or the description that I'm giving. So it says I want to build an app where I could paste a link to a blog post, or let's say paste a blog post and turn it into a LinkedIn post or Twitter/X thread. So that is basically the initial prompt that I'll give, and I can click on the continue option. And now it is asking me to upload what you have so far. So if you have a requirements file, user stories, specifications or codes, you can actually go ahead and drag and drop it in here. So it will help the AI to have additional context and make the whole process a bit more easier. But for now, I'll skip this part and I can click on the skip option. And if you have any design inspiration, you can actually go ahead and drag and drop the same in here. You can go ahead and take a screenshot of the app or design that inspires you, and you can drag and drop it in here, and the AI will use or take inspiration from the screenshot that you upload and take it up from there. But for now, I'll skip that as well. And now it says what integration does your app need. So here for authentication, we have Firebase Auth and Superbase Auth. And for database, we have Firestore and Superbase Database. And for payments, we have Stripe and Lemon Squeezy. Storage, we have Firebase Storage, Superbase Storage, Amazon S3, and Google Cloud Storage. And for authentication, I'll put Firebase Auth, database Firebase, no payments, and for storage, Firebase Storage. And I can click on the Let's Start button. So as you can see, it says I'm taking the information you have provided and turning it into a plan we can follow to build an MVP users will love. So basically, so far I only went ahead and gave a description. But in your case, if you have a solid idea as to what you want to build, and if you have all these requirements, files, specifications or screenshots, you can actually go ahead and upload the same in the requirements and inspiration section and select the integrations. And now the AI will go ahead and prepare an extensive task list and break it down into multiple modules, and you can take it up from there. For now, I'll wait for the AI to complete planning the same thing. So let's wait. So the AI has named our project Content Craft, and I've generated a plan for us to build Content Craft MVP. We haven't gotten started yet. Move task into the progress to kick off the project, or let me know if you want to adjust the plan. So as you can see here in the to-do section, you can find a bunch of these tasks. Create a landing page for Content Craft with branding and a value proposition. Implement Firebase authentication. Create user profiles with Firebase integration. Build content input interface with URL scripting and direct text entry, develop content transformation API using AI to convert blog posts to social media formats, and we have a bunch of these to-do items in here. And now the cool thing about Databutton is that it has a more like a agentic approach. So you could go ahead and input whatever stuff that you want to in the input box right here, and the AI agent within Databutton will do all that for you. For example, let's say I want to start with this CON1 task right here. So all I gotta do is to, let's say, enable dictation. Everything looks good. So let's start with CON1 task. So here I have went ahead and told everything looks good. So let's start with CON1 task, and I can hit enter. And now as you can see, the AI has automatically taken the CON1 task from the to do part and put it into the in progress section. So basically the AI is now creating a landing page for Content Craft with branding and value proposition. And if you click on that one, you can actually view the description or what exactly is the AI planning to do. So it says design and implement a landing page, clearly communicates the value proposition, include a logo, tagline, all right, call to action. Okay, pretty much everything looks good. And if you want to add a comment, you can actually go ahead and put it in here. And now I'll close this one. And now the AI agent within Databutton is actually writing code, modifying files, and doing all the research and everything else for us. Okay, so now all you gotta do is to sit back and wait for the changes to be made live, and you can go ahead and take it up from there. Alright, so seems like the task 1 is completed, and it says I've completed the landing page for Content Craft. Looking at the implementation, here's what I've created. So branded header, hero section, visual representation, feature section, call to action, and professional footer. Okay, and now the task 1 is completed, and to view the actual preview, all you gotta do is to move to this preview tab right here. Okay, and as you can see here, we have a nice landing page, and let me open it in a full screen. Alright, so there you have it. So here we have the nice graphics, we have this gradient text in here, and to be honest, the UI of this particular homepage or the landing page actually looks sick. So I'm actually very much impressed. And next up, let's just say I want to deploy the app. Obviously, you will only deploy the app after you have a bit more content inside. But in which ways, just as to demonstrate the AI agentic approach in Databutton, now let's say I don't know anything about DevOps stuff, or now I don't know how to host the website, or taking care of all that technical stuff. So all I gotta do is to come over to this chat section right here, and I can turn on detection again, and I'll go ahead and say, could you please deploy this app for me? That's pretty much all I gotta do. Now I'll go ahead and hit enter, and watch this. Now the AI will go ahead and deploy the current version of our app and ask us if we want to change the URL, and you can go ahead and input the URL. As you can see, the path in here, Content Craft looks good. So all I gotta do is to click on this deploy app option, and now the AI will go ahead and deploy this particular app. Okay, so whatever stuff that you have built so far, the AI will go ahead and deploy it. And now after you're done with a couple more tasks, you can actually go ahead and ask the AI to redeploy, and the AI will go ahead and make all the changes live as well. Okay, and as you can see, the app is now successfully deployed, and I can access the same in here. So let me copy the URL and visit the website. There you have it. So now you can go ahead and share this exact URL with pretty much anyone, and pretty much anyone can access it on the internet. So basically these are some agentic tools within Databutton, and we have many more of them, and I'll show you that in a bit. But for now, I'll move over to the plan section. Let's implement Firebase authentication. So I'll go ahead and say, before that, actually part 1 is pretty much completed. So I'm pretty satisfied with the landing page that we have right now. So I'll go ahead and ask the AI to mark CON1 as completed. The landing page looks good. You can actually mark the first task as completed. Hit enter, and now the AI will go ahead and take this particular task from in progress section and add it to the done section. Okay, so let's wait. Okay, it is prompting me, so I'll go ahead and click yes, mark as done. As you can see, it is now moved from the in progress section to done. That's all I gotta do. And now let's say I want to begin working on the implementation of authentication. So I could just go ahead and say, let's move on to the next task and start implementing authentication with Firebase. Hit enter. And as you can see, the task number 2 is now moved to the in progress session, and it is asking me, would you like to add Firebase to your app? All right, add Firebase. And now all you gotta do is to spin up a new Firebase project and put the config in here. And you can just click on this install Firebase auth option and you should be pretty much good to go. And how do you do that, you ask? Well, you can just go to your Firebase console, click on create project option. Let's put the name as content craft. Click continue, create project. All right, so our Firebase project is ready and I can click on continue. Okay, let's wait. And now all you gotta do is to click on this web icon right here. And now you gotta name your app. So let's say content craft itself. Click on register app. And here you will get all the details that the AI asked you. So I can go ahead and copy this Firebase config object from my Firebase console, head back to Databutton, and all I gotta do is to paste the same in here. And I'm pretty much sorted. So that's all I gotta do from my end to implement authentication to our app. And now as I click on this install Firebase auth option, the AI will go ahead and take care of all the behind the scenes stuff. So I can go ahead and click on install Firebase auth. And it says creating a login page for your app, then log out, config, and restart. And now we have one more thing to do in here, that is configure auth providers in authentication settings. We recommend enabling email and Google sign-in. So all you gotta do is to go to authentication settings. Okay, let's wait. Okay, authentication, get started. And I'll select email and password, enable it, click on save. And also I'll add Google. So select Google, enable, select the email, and click save. And I might actually want to add, okay, it says your app is protected. We have secured your app with Firebase authentication and your users can now sign in safely and securely. Click on done. And if I click on this Firebase icon again, I need to copy this domain from here and put it in the authorized domain section. So I'll go to settings, go to authorized domains, add domain, and paste the first one. Click on add, copy the second one. That is actually our deployment main URL. So I'll head back, add that domain as well, click on add. Okay, so both of them are added now. And if I head back, pretty much everything should be taken care of. And as you can see, it is now implementing the authentication pages and pretty much everything. So let's wait. And right now it says the login page now currently links to the register page. Next, I need to update the app.tsx page to handle authentication state properly. So this will allow us to show different UI elements based on whether a user is logged in or not. Alright, so seems like the authentication part is completely implemented and it is also adding a note in the task. So if I click on this one, as you can see here, we have a note detailing what exactly the AI agent did so far. So it implemented complete authentication flow with email, password, login, register, protected routes, dynamic UI components, and all that. Okay. And now if I head over to the preview tab again, I should be able to click on login and sign up to create a new account. So I can click on sign up and it will take me to this nice, beautiful register page. Okay. Click on sign up. And all you gotta do is to click on sign in with Google or sign in with email. For example, if you want to continue with Google, you can click on Google and you can go ahead and create an account. And now just as to make sure the authentication feature is actually working, I'll go ahead and open the preview in a new tab and I'll try to create a new account. And if I head over to authentication section right here and click on the user section, you will notice I don't really have any users, no users for this project yet. Now I'll head back and click on this sign in with Google option. A pop-up will appear and I can select the email that I want to use. Let's say this one and click on continue, and that's pretty much all I gotta do. So I'm basically signed in. So if you come over to this authentication section and click on this refresh button, as you can see here, we have this new user, provider is Google, create a date, sign in date, and UUID. Alright, so as you can see, even in the home page, it says hello Astro Joseph, and we also have a logout button. So now that we are authenticated, it is showing us customized UI elements within the home page as well. And as you can see, this is the beauty of vibe coding. I did not touch a single line of code, nor did I type anything, and I barely touched my keyboard. I just dictated everything with my voice, and now the AI has went ahead and created a landing page, implemented authentication, and done all of that. And now I can further go ahead and implement all this complex functionality even without writing a single line of code. So this is the current state of coding in 2025, and going forward in the coming years, it is only going to get better. And now let's just go ahead and continue it further. And now that the authentication part is actually working, you can either go ahead and click on this icon right here to mark it as completed, or tell the AI agent to mark it as completed. But for now, I'll go ahead and click on this tick button, and that's pretty much it. Task 1 and task 2 is now completed. And next up, I want to, let's say, implement this functionality where create user profiles with Firebase integrations to store preference. Maybe I'll actually go ahead and build the fourth task, that is build content input interface with URL scraping and direct text entry. And you don't really have to go ahead and every time you don't have to actually go ahead and input everything in the, let's say, input box. You can actually go ahead and click on this play button or click on the start task option to start pretty much any task. So I'll go ahead and click on the start task option, and now it will move over to the in progress section. And as you can see, it is now working on the task 4. And as you can see, the AI is planning to use Beautiful Soup 4 to fetch or let's say scrape content from the link that we pass. So yeah, let's just wait for it to complete coding the same. And now it says I've successfully created a backend API for URL scraping that uses Beautiful Soup and requests to extract content from the URLs. Alright, so yeah, let's wait for it to continue further. Alright, so seems like this part is now done, and it is asking us, would you like to test this implementation? You should be able to enter a URL, click fetch to scrape content, or switch to the direct input tab and paste the content directly, preview the content before transformation and click the transformation button. Okay, this will be implemented the next time. Okay, no problem. So if I head over to, let's say, the preview, refresh it once and move to the dashboard. And here I have the option to input the URL, like the blog post URL, or directly paste the content in here. For example, let's say I'm going to convert a random blog post. So this right here is a blog post about Claude 3.7 Sonnet, and I'll go ahead and copy the same, and I'll come back and put the URL in here and click on the fetch option. And now Beautiful Soup will go ahead and scrape the content. And okay, so here we can see the preview. Today we are announcing all that kind of stuff. Content truncated for preview. So we can actually find the preview in here and also the actual text, but it is truncated. And if I click on this transform content option, it should show and transform the content into LinkedIn post and X thread and all that. But this particular functionality is not implemented yet. So basically the fetching part or scraping the content from the URL part is now successfully implemented. And by the way, Databutton actually have Claude 3.7 Sonnet under the hood. So the UI or be it pretty much any aspect of coding, it's even better is what I would say. Okay, so it was clearly evident when I first created this landing page, and the design and all that was actually really great. So you get to use Claude 3.7 Sonnet all within Databutton AI agent, and it says okay, pretty much everything looks good. So I can go ahead and say pretty much everything looks good, and I was able to scrape the content, full stop. Now we can continue further. Click enter. Okay, here we have the observations, plan, next steps and all that. First, add the missing margin to the content input. All right, so that's an interesting one. So input content. So somewhere in here, the AI has detected a margin related problem and the AI itself is fixing the same. Wow, that is great. So it says, let's make a small adjustment to add the margin back to our content input component to maintain consistent spacing on the dashboard. That's a sick one. In which ways, let's wait for it to complete the same. So I'll go ahead and mark it as done, and we can continue further. And next up, let's just say you want to include a new functionality or feature to your app. And if you want to add a new task in here, you can actually go ahead and ask the AI to do the same. For example, let's say we want to include a documentation section in our app. So I can go ahead and say, I want to include documentation section to my app, full stop. Can you go ahead and add a task in the to-do section that we can implement later? Hit enter, and now the AI will go ahead and add a new task in the to-do section to implement the documentation feature. As you can see here, we have a new item in here, create documentation section with usage guides and best practices. And next up, we can go ahead and develop the content transformation API using AI. So I'll go ahead and say, let's continue further and implement task number 5, full stop. As for the AI API, I will be using OpenAI API. Now let's continue with task CON-5, and I'll be using OpenAI API. And that should be it. Now the AI will go ahead and take task 5, put it in the in progress section. And I've also explicitly mentioned that I would like to use OpenAI API for implementing the content transformation thing. So let's wait. And now the AI will actually prompt me to enter the OpenAI API key. So as you can see here, we have an input box. So I'll go ahead and quickly create a new secret key, give it a random name, click on create secret key, and I can copy the key, paste it in here, and click on the send button. And now that's all I gotta do, and the AI will take care of the rest. So let's wait. So as you can see, the AI agent within Databutton is actually testing the API integration to make sure everything is working. So the AI agent actually takes care of the hard part of testing the API as well. So it is calling the API endpoint called as transform content, and it says successfully called the API. And it seems like they have an error with the storage key. So it is fixing the Firebase integration to properly sanitize the storage key and doing all that kind of stuff for me. So if the AI hadn't gone through this, testing process, when I try to run this particular app and implement, or let's say use that particular API, I will run into an error, and then I'll have to spend even more time to fix that error, right? So pretty much a lot of these stuff are actually automated, and this is one cool thing about the AI agent within Databutton. Alright, so seems like the transform content API is working correctly, and it also tested the history API and it is working as well. So it is asking me, would you like to mark COIN 5 as completed? But before that, we want to actually test it. Or maybe let's say I want to redeploy the app now so that I can actually go ahead and sign in and start using it from the deployment address itself. So all I gotta do is to, could you please redeploy the app for me? Hit enter, and that should be pretty much it. See. Alright, so seems like the redeployment is now done. So I should be able to access it from here. So let me refresh. And I'll click on login, sign in with Google, and head over to the dashboard and put a blog post URL in here. So the same Anthropic Claude 3.7 Sonnet blog post, and I can click on fetch, and it says scraping. So here we have the content in here. So here we have the content, and I'll go ahead and click on the transform content option, and it says transforming your content, and within seconds we should be able to see our LinkedIn post and also Twitter/X thread. Let's wait for it. Look at that. So here we have two tabs, one for LinkedIn and another for Twitter, and here we have, wow. Today we are thrilled to introduce Claude 3.7 Sonnet, the most intelligent model yet and the first hybrid reasoning model on the market. Okay, we have a couple of these bullet points and all that. Wow. And I also have this Twitter thread in here. So it has that nice thread icon. Exciting news, meet Claude 3.7 Sonnet, our smartest model yet, the first hybrid reasoning model. Wow. I'm pretty impressed. It is also showing me the suggested hashtags, and you can also actually find all these recent transformations in here, and we also have a transformation ID as well. And now to be 100% sure that pretty much everything worked exactly like the way we wanted, show me any errors from the backend, if any. And hit enter, and now the AI agent within Databutton will go ahead and analyze the log and show if there is any error. So it says it is checking the log for any error, reading the logs, and if there is any kind of error, the same will be shown in here. So it says I don't see any error logs from the backend since our last save. Pretty much everything is good. And now similar to this one, we have a bunch of different agentic tools within Databutton that you can use to sort of talk to or communicate with the AI to find errors, list files, add tasks, deploy the app, redeploy the app, fix errors, and do a whole bunch of stuff. And if you want to view the full list of all the agentic tools within AI, this particular platform, I will leave a link to that in the description below, and you can go ahead and check that out. And as you can see, everything pretty much looks good. So I can mark COIN 5 as completed. And as you can see, the core functionality or the major feature or app is working exactly as we intended. And now I can head back to Databutton and continue the exact same process and do all these tasks, mark it as completed, move on to the next one, let the AI write the code, debug it, fix any errors, and I can actually go ahead and take it up from there. And by the end of this 9th task right here, my app should be fully ready to go. And I have already implemented authentication, databases, storage, API implementation for transforming the content, UI, and pretty much everything is taken care of. So as you saw, this is how simple it is to wipe code and build complex web application using AI agents and AI coding tools like Databutton. So all you gotta do is to sign up for a new account at databutton.com and use the AI agent within the platform, and you can simply go ahead and dictate and or maybe type exactly what you want to build, and the AI will go ahead and take care of the rest. So it literally means that you don't need to write a single line of code, yet you can build highly complex applications, mobile games, system softwares, and whatnot. And to be honest, I can't still believe the fact that anyone without any coding knowledge or prior coding experience can go ahead and build highly complex system softwares or web applications or even mobile apps using AI. So if you want to access Databutton and use the AI agent within Databutton to build highly complex web applications in React, you can click the first link in the description below, sign up for a new account and start using the same. So I hope you guys found this video useful. If yes, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.